How's everybody doing this evening? Welcome to the Heart of Relationship show, people. Hopefully everybody's doing okay. No intro tonight. Gonna be talking about a course. Hey Janine, I appreciate you tuning in. Um, gonna be talking about, of course, dating, relationship, intimacy, sex, and marriage, insights, advice, that type of information going on. And the Art of Relationship show, as people might know, I am a bona fide, fully licensed professional counselor in Michigan, Detroit, and a relationship and sex specialist. I have a lot of grief and trauma experience as well. And going with every episode, excuse me, I am going to talk about a topic, or if you have a topic you want me to talk about, please let me know. Any questions you have regarding, marriage, dating, sex, relationships, hit me up. Anything I can do to help people out. And talking about a topic tonight, thinking about its devastation, right? And thinking about regrets. And just near me, a couple miles away, Metro Detroit, we had actually a couple miles from my home, there was a tornado a couple hours ago, okay? And thinking about it, I guess a mess. So when people think about devastation, think about relationships, and when bad things go on in a marriage or relationship, do you feel like you have each other's back? I never want people to have a bad thing happen, right? And I talked about a couple weeks ago on the show about, in sickness and in health, but when things go sideways, when there's a disaster, when there's maybe, like a lot of people talk, down south, right? Hurricanes, tornadoes. Like I said, we just had a tornado touchdown actually a couple miles from my house. And looking at when people say you have your back, or one of your expectations for a happy, healthy relationship, um, you know what? Let me know. What does that mean to you? And thinking about this, and everybody thinks about the good stuff, right? I want to feel loved, respected, appreciated, desired, right? All those things, right? I want to have ecstasy. I want to have passion. All those things. But knock on wood, we don't want things to go sideways. We don't want things to go bad. But if they do, what does having each other's backs mean? And make sure you share this on your page, on your timeline, wherever you're viewing it from. Excuse me. Wherever you're viewing it from, listening to it from, share it. I want to invite as many people as possible, get as many questions out there. And like I mentioned, the questions also are, they can help other people. Maybe a lot of people, let's face it, might have the same question, but might be a little shy to ask. And like I mention every episode as well, I will keep your name anonymous unless you give me permission to, say, hey, here's a question from so and so, right? But I want to keep, privacy. It might be important for a lot of people. Some people might not care, but I want to respect that. And like I mentioned, the Art of Relationship show, it doesn't replace actual professional counseling and couples counseling that I do in my office, mainly because of confidentiality, social media, that type of stuff, and HIPAA and consent forms and all that stuff, right? So let the questions, whatever your questions are about dating, about relationships, marriage, sex, whatever I can do to help you out. But going back to talking about, devastation when, maybe a natural disaster hits. I mentioned about tornado touchdown 3 miles from my home, literally here in Metro Detroit. And also, like hurricanes, tidal waves, all those aspects, okay, that you need to be able to look at when bad things happen. a lot of people freak out. A lot of people, they panic, and I get that. And looking at when you have each other's backs, right? It's a lot easier, right? When things are going sideways. Oh, I got you. We're doing this. We're remodeling, whatever, things you look forward to be able to look at what is happening. Okay. And viewer mentioned marriage is so melodramatic. It can be. It depends on the couple. It depends on the marriage. It depends on the relationship as well. So you have to look at, okay, what might be melodramatic to one person in the marriage or relationship might not be melodramatic to another. So again, it's subjective, and looking at all these aspects, okay? And it's not easy. Hey, Ehab, my friend, what's going on? In Cairo, Egypt, hopefully everything's going on. And I know we have to touch base. We keep for last probably couple months about doing a multicultural show about dating. It's been a long time. It's probably been what, a year, couple years. Hopefully it's not been that long since we did a show together, and we have fun. Okay. So that's where I want people to be able to look at, what is happening out there, especially when you have each other's back. What does that mean? What happens to your relationship and your marriage? Can you count on your partner to be there for you and to be able to look at what is happening, what is going on? Okay. Hey, there's people in the chat. I'm not going to say your name unless you give me that permission to do so. Okay. So I appreciate you joining in and looking at, your questions. Hit me up with your questions. Again, regarding anything, I should say, relationship based, marriage based, sex based, right? Dating, those type of situations. But going back to, yeah, it's been a while since we talked, man. I appreciate that. But looking at, when things go sideways, what is going on? Hey, Ian, what's happening, man? What's going on? You talk about red flags. What are red flags? A red flag centering on, the topic you're looking at the situation about, when things go sideways. Does your partner have your back, right? Are they there for you? Or do they walk away and call it quits? And again, I deal with all kind of people. One, they maybe got caught doing something they shouldn't have been doing, and they have to spend a couple years in prison. Okay. Would you stay around? Would you wait around? Would you say adios, peace, I'm out of here? And it might depend on what they do, right? What caused them to go to prison, those type of situations. And Jerry, man, I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. And, going back down to those situations, when I mentioned there was just a tornado touchdown a couple miles from my home. And actually, I just got home. I finished up my last session, hurry up and ran home and hopped on so I could do the show. I didn't know if there was going to be electricity or anything at that. But are you the type of person that panics, say the power went out and your partner maybe panics and, goes all over the place, and you're like, oh, chill out, relax type of situation? What do you do to try to soothe each other, to calm each other, but also to be able to look at, how you are there for each other in times of need? Maybe one of you, knock on wood, again, I don't want bad things to happen, but maybe you need a life-saving surgery, those type of situations. Hey, Joe, what's happening? So those type of issues, I want to know what's going on and what is happening. And here's a question. Why after the date, she just become like someone I didn't know? I think that's I was going to say, I think that might be a song actually. And that's a good question. Now, I need more clarity. Are you talking about after the date she becomes or became like someone I didn't know, meaning that did she ghost you, meaning she never contacted you, maybe blocked you, didn't reply to your phone calls, your texts, those type of situations, okay? So if you're looking at that, then I'm going to say she probably didn't feel chemistry, maybe was looking for something else, maybe didn't feel a vibe or that connection. That's probably why that happened. Or maybe you felt that way. Maybe you talked before you went on a date, texting, talking, maybe even video chatting before you went on a date. And you're thinking everything's great. And then maybe you are the one, you went on the date. And then what happens is you walk away, man, things were different in person, right? We just didn't vibe like I thought we did, um, virtually or on the phone, calling or actually talking or texting. You thought everything was great and then it wasn't, okay? That happens, okay? Why does that happen? Why does that? It's one of those things that it just happens, okay? So that's where you're looking at those situations and going on. Oh, I appreciate you for the reminder, okay? Charity, I appreciate you. Thank you. You matter, and this goes out to everybody, okay? You matter, you are loved out there, men. Happy Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. You are amazing. You know what? Thank you so much. And that is that's awesome. That's amazing. And it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I appreciate the reminder out there. And believe it or not, with couples, with individuals that I have it in my office or virtually, over 50% of the calls I receive are from men. So I definitely appreciate that. And I tell it takes a lot of guts to reach out, and people are looking, and more men are being more brave, more courageous about reaching out for help. And I love it and I appreciate it. Okay. Another one, when I date a girl and everyone goes home, she becomes like someone I didn't know. She ignores calls. And that's what I was asking about. Thank you for the clarity. And that's where you look at if she's ignoring calls, or for women out there uh, dating a guy, heterosexual situation. If anyone, they ignore calls, they don't reach back to you. You know what? Don't reach out to them. They might not be, like I said a minute ago, and maybe you've heard it. Don't reach out again. Don't bug them. Don't try to beg, plead. No, leave them be, because I don't want anyone to beg or plead. And people heard this maybe before. I never want someone to beg and plead someone to be with them. Never beg and plead to be able to have sex with somebody else. Wanting to, showing interest in somebody, that's different than trying to be begging and pleading. If they don't reach back to you, then let it go. Either they didn't feel a connection, they didn't feel a vibe, and sometimes I might not feel a vibe with somebody as well. Okay, so that's part of it, and it happens, right? You're not going to jive with everybody. We're going to be maybe not what somebody else wants. Someone else might not be something that I'm looking for. It happens, and it's frustrating, but that's what's going on, okay? When a couple, here's another question. This is great. When a couple is in a devastation or a storm after years of marriage because of the resentment, wouldn't you agree it is very hard to have each other's back? That's a great question. It is, because number one, you're going to feel like the other one doesn't understand you, they don't get you, and maybe they don't care about you. So why would I have someone's back that doesn't care about me, or I feel like they don't have my back? And I get that. And that's where that communication is so crucial. That's a great question. And this is where, and I don't, knock on wood again, right? I don't want emergencies to happen. They do. And that's where maybe, where an emergency happens. Okay. Like I said, someone, had to be rushed to the hospital for a life-saving surgery. I just mentioned a tornado close to me, hurricanes, people dying. And sometimes the emergencies pull people apart, but also sometimes when people are devastated going through um, a bad spot in a relationship or marriage, sometimes they'll look at the root. Yeah, we do love each other, and they pull together in those times of need. But that doesn't mean that those issues in the marriage or relationship that happen are resolved. So sometimes they do pull together when an emergency occurs. Okay, I've seen it over and over again. But then one person, oh, everything's great, but the other one is like, we still have these issues that went on in the marriage that needs to be resolved. That you can be there out of mutual respect and common courtesy for one another. That doesn't necessarily mean the relationship or marriage is automatically healed or fixed, okay? So those are situations you need to be able to look at in those times. And I've seen it over and over again. Unfortunately, I've been doing this for what, almost 22 years, working with couples, and to be able to look at when that happens, one thinks everything's fine and everything, the other person's like, no, we still are right where we are. We just happen to be together in the time of need out of respect, out of situations. And again, it's not a right or wrong. It's just one of those situations. So that is a time, hey, I appreciate you being there. I appreciate you having my back. And I know we weren't in the greatest spot. Maybe we can work on this, and maybe we can be able to heal this and be able to be there for one another. Okay. Great question. Okay. How could you have each other's back after years of marriage? How could you get back to having your spouse's back? Now, this happens, and I even talking about, and it was mentioned, about the devastation, about, the storm. And I even talk about my book you can get on Amazon. Love SOS is on Amazon, paperback, ebook. Yeah, they're on both. But I talk about the storm. When the storm hits, I usually tell people it's phase 3 of a relationship, the storm. And this is what usually creates divorces, affairs, and I want to help people get through phase 3, the storm, I call it. And to help people through that, to get on to a happier, more connected marriage if possible. And this is where there's so much resentment. You feel like you hate each other, but you maybe deep down you still have that love. But first you have to look at, what is that resentment? What does it build up to be, right? You have to be specific about, hey, I didn't feel loved. How do you want to feel loved? And if that person says, oh, I don't know, we got to find that out. Because some people, if they say, I don't know all the time, then your partner's going to get frustrated. They're not going to know how to love you, how to maybe feel respect for you, how to show appreciation. You have to get more specific in what is happening, what is going on, okay? So that is, that's a big thing. You first have to look at what is needed. What can I do to make you feel like you're not just a piece of meat? If your partner feels like you just want sex from them, okay? And this goes for men, women, doesn't matter. Everybody assumes it's men. No, it's both. So what can I do specifically to connect with my partner to heal that resentment? Number one is to be able to go after and look at, hey, how can I emotionally connect with you? How do I really try to learn what you are feeling in the marriage, in the relationship? I want to know how I'm making you feel. Do I make you feel important? Do I make you feel cherished? Do I make you feel appreciated, cared about? Do I want to spend time with you? Do I want to have fun with you? All those aspects, right? And it's not just lip service. It's going after the reality about, hey, am I following through? Am I doing what my partner needs me to do? As long, again, it's not selling myself out. I'm not going to be, my partner wants to be swingers, but I'm not going to be a swinger. Then you have decisions to make, right? Or, you know what, my partner doesn't want a kid and I want a kid. And those are big decisions, right? And maybe another decision, one wants to move out of state and the other one doesn't want to move. And it's, what do you do? And it turns into a competition, right? Well, if you love me, you do this. Well, if you love me, you do that. But we also have to look at self-love and self-respect. And that doesn't mean it's out of selfishness, okay? So first we have to look at, what are we doing to connect with our partner to make them feel more, loved, that they're heard, that they're understood. Okay. So going back to, about if someone doesn't call you back, if they're ghosted, if they're not interested. Once that I ignore her, she starts texting. Well, now that's fine, but don't be in a hurry to always text her back. Okay. I'm going to be honest. Okay. I'm not into playing games. I'm not about that. But I also don't want people to come across as overly desperate, needy. And a lot of women get turned off by that. If both people connect and you're both on that same vibe, that's great. That's awesome. But that's where I don't want people to, always be with me, be with me, be with me. And it's trying to feel that vibe, and it's very difficult. Okay. So that's where I get all that aspect. And it's hard, but it's a good question. Okay. And somebody said, I have a question, sir. Please ask. Yeah, you can ask questions. Absolutely. That's what live Q&A is all about. Okay. That's where I want people to look at what is happening and hit me up. What is going on. Okay. So, that's what I want people to be able to look up. Okay. I want people to understand. Do you listen to Nick Her? I have no idea who that is. Okay. So I've never heard of that. I know a lot of people, other professionals in the field. Hey, Pierre, bro, what's going on, man? Appreciate you turning in. So that's where, to be able to look at, what is happening in your relationship and what does having each other's backs in a time of need looks like. Okay. And again, you can look at, I appreciate you, Ehab. You mentioned someone. Do you have any relationship question? He's amazing. I don't know if I'm amazing, Ehab. I appreciate it. Okay. I try my best. Ehab. We've known each other a little bit now. My passion's always trying to help people out and being honest. Okay. I can be direct. I can be blunt, but I'm also very compassionate. And I care. I want to help people out. That's my main focus. Amazing. I'm good at what I do. Okay. So, but I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to get better. Okay. That's it. Okay. So looking at that, please join, share the episode, The Art of Relationships show, this episode, share it on your timeline, share it on your page, wherever you're watching, listen at it. Okay. So that's where I want people to be able to look at, I want to get as many people involved and help as many people as possible. So throw your questions out there, pertaining to dating, relationships, sex, anything. Okay. Hit me up. Okay. Now, another question, how could I be more understanding if possible? If my spouse experiences big trauma, example, and this is what I talked about, actually, what I started to show off with, example, passing of a family member, and this is devastating, okay? And when the loss of a loved one does, it's very devastating, and we don't know what to do. We don't know how to be there, right? We might think we're being there and being there for our partner and doing everything right to show compassion and to show empathy and to be there but it might not be what our partner needs, and our partner might not know what they need. It's devastating, a loved one, loss of a brother, sister, a mother, father, that type of thing, a best friend, grandmother who raised you, whoever it is, and it's devastating. And this can change some people. It's about allowing them, hey, I'm here for you. Let me know. I want to know how difficult it is too, and what is going on. Okay. Who are you talking to? I'm actually talking to the audience out there. Okay. I'm talking to a question that was asked on another platform, a social media platform. Okay. That asked a question. So, looking at, trying to be there as ass. Hey, excuse me, I'm here for you. You need a hug. I'm here for you. And I want to be there for you. Okay. And that's where I want people to be able to look at, asking, okay, how can I be there? And it's very difficult when your partner, husband, wife that's going through a devastating loss, they might not even know. They've maybe never experienced anything close to that. And they think, what might work, might not work. So it's just about asking, about being there, checking in. Hey, I love you. I want to make sure you're okay. I'm here for you. So it could be just simple. Hey, you want to talk about it? I'm here for you. I might not know what to say, but I'll listen. Those type of things are recommended. I usually recommend that, and saying, hey, I don't know what to do, but I'm here for you. Let me know anything I can do. It could be, taking care of more of the household chores. It could be cooking more. It could be, cleaning more. It could be, hey, can I get you something to drink? Taking your person into consideration a lot more. Okay. And it's hard. It's very difficult. Sometimes we feel hopeless because we don't know what to do. Sometimes your partner just needs to be held, and no talking, right? It's asking simple questions, but allowing them to take the lead, if you will. Okay. Now, oh, here we go. A sex question. Does size matter? Okay. Now, size matters to some women, or maybe same-sex relationships. Let's be real, okay? So, to some women, we'll talk about in heterosexual relationships, okay? Women, there are women out there that size does matter, and there are women out there that size is not a big deal. Some women don't want a skinny, they might call it a pencil dick, where it might be long and skinny like a pencil, and some women don't want it too short, or some women are okay if it's short, but it's got girth, okay? That it might be, thicker girth. We'll just say that. And so everybody's different. If women say size don't matter, they might not want to hurt your feelings. But to some women, to be honest with you, size might not matter as long as it's average, okay? So this is where you're looking at, how do you know if she's being honest? Oh, that type of situation. Or in same-sex relationships, with men, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Again, it matters on the individual and what's going on, okay? If every woman says size doesn't matter, they're lying to you, because I know women, they have admitted to me in session. Now, that's where you look at what is going. Hey, Heather, what's going on? Yeah, I appreciate you. Yep, see? They're lying if they say it doesn't matter at all. So, most women, average is fine. I know a lot of women, the average, according to the British Medical Journal, who did a study now, oh boy, I want to say 3 years ago now. I think it was when COVID just come out, or it was starting to come out, 2019, 2020, it come out. The average, they tested and assessed 50 men or I should say, sorry, men from 50 different cultures, races, that thing, the average erect penis is 5.25 inches, and that is erect. That's not flaccid, limp, soft, whatever you want to call it, okay? Now, there are women that will say, yeah, I need something at least this big. Now, or is it how you use it, right? And there are women out there that definitely say that are, you know what, it can be too big because it can be very painful, okay, to certain women. Just like every man, every woman has different sizes, width, depth of their vagina, okay? So everybody's different. And there are women I know, they say it is too big, it hurts. And you can have women that have tilted cervix too, that can play a role in, if you know, size type of situation, okay? So that's where you look at, you know, is it more about the action? Is it more about the, you know, the motion to the ocean type of situation? And is there a situation that, how can you teach your partner that maybe, you know, and there are women out there that definitely say it can be too small, right? Micro penis, that type of situation, and it's difficult. So you look at, again, every woman is different, absolutely. But you look at how you use it. Is it about position? Might make a matter, okay? So it is maybe different positions. Maybe if you are not well endowed, I'm hung like a gerbil. I tell people that. I'm honest, okay? Hung like a gerbil, I'm average, right? Erect. I'm a grower, not a shower. Some people, they can be very small, maybe an inch, but they might get erect where it's, you know, 5.5 inches, right? So you look at that and, you know, different positions. But if the guy can ride higher, it's almost, well, not almost, but it's called the cat technique, the coyote alignment technique, where it's more pelvis running on her clit type of situation, okay? And like a lot of women, they do not reach orgasm through penetrative sex. Some women do, a lot don't as well, where it's more manual, you know, with fingers or toys or oral sex, right? Vibrators, that type of situation. And there's some women that do reach orgasm through penetrative sex. Everybody assumes every woman reaches orgasm through penetrative sex, and they don't. So you have to look at, with sex, you have to look at what is fulfilling, what is pleasurable for both partners, okay? So a lot of people, oh yeah, I'm just going to lay there, I have a big dick. Well, maybe just laying there is not going to do anything, right? So you have to look at, how do you want to move? How do you read each other's body language? And this is part of looking at what is needed. It's communication. And some people are afraid. They don't want to hurt their partner's feelings. They don't want to, you know, cause an argument, that type of situation. I get that. That's where hey, I love it if you do this. I love it if you do this softer. Oh, I love it if you did that, but do it here instead, right? Softer, slower, firmer. And this goes, hey, I want to try this. I'd love it if you were on top. I'd love it if you were, you know, reverse cowgirl, where you're on top, but, you know, facing away. Whatever. It's looking at what is more pleasurable for both of you. And we're talking about physical pleasure, but also looking at, what about the emotional, sensual, soulful pleasure in the relationship, the emotional intimacy, you know, maybe looking at each other in your eyes, that type of situation. And I mention this on a lot of situations, or a lot of different avenues, and some people are not like that. When they look at, oh, I just feel like it's just physical, they're missing the emotional, heartfelt connection, and that's where the communication comes from. And like, going back to, yeah, size matters for some women it doesn't, okay? And some women, they are lying, and some women are gonna be on it. I remember I remember teaching human sexuality college classes, and I've had women in their 50s. Greg, there ain't nothing too big for me. I'm like, whoa, woman, you know, that type of situation. So everybody's different, but it's looking at what brings you. Oh, I got flagged for talking about intimacy, okay, for TikTok. And I know that. And I might end up getting rid of TikTok because I want to be open and honest and, talk about real life stuff. So I just got a warning talking about intimacy. So that's where I want you to be able to be open and honest and talk about it, okay? So now, here we go. What are some ways that you can get your spouse interested back in intimacy after years of being together? Now, number one, of course, you need to be able to look. Oh, EHOB, thank you. Sorry. Everybody, please tap to approve the live. Thank you so much, EHOB, because I have no idea. I know TikTok is huge on censoring any SEX or intimacy content, so I have to be careful, and I don't want to be. I want to be real. I want to be legit. No filters. That's the way I am. Okay. So, going back to, okay, what are some ways that you can get your spouse interested in intimacy again, right? Fulfilling sex, fulfilling intimacy within the relationship or marriage. Now, number one, if your goal is only that, you're going to lose your partner. I'm going to be honest, okay? The more you emphasize and are focused solely on the physical intimacy, you need to stop, okay? You can look at that, and one way to go after it, and this goes for men that are disinterested, women. Everybody assumes it's men or women are like this. They're not. So you have to look at how can I connect with my spouse emotionally, mentally, and look at, then we can get into more the sensuality, the sex, the intimacy, the physical aspect about that. And please, as Ehab mentioned, please like and approve the live feed, people. Ehab, my buddy, I appreciate you mentioning that. And if anybody is ready or gonna be touring Egypt or Cairo, Egypt, look up Ehab Malik, Malek. I think is it Egyptian concierge? He'll show you around. That's his job, around Cairo, Egypt, and everything else. Okay. So look him up, Ehab. Oh, there it is, Egypt concierge, CONCIERGE, Egypt concierge. Hit him up. Say Greg sent you, and he'll show you around, and he got all kind of positive, awesome reviews. His clients, people he shows around, he'll take you through not just the regular sites, the stuff that nobody else sees. And everybody loves Ehab. He's a great dude. So check that out, okay? So going back to the intimacy, that type of situation. Most people don't want sex or intimacy like it was like a chore, like it's obligation, like it's work. That's not a turn on. But you have to look at, how can I connect with my spouse emotionally, mentally? Maybe we need to joke around more. Maybe we need to be more playful and not just in a physical, sexual way. Maybe we need to do more activities together. It could be anywhere. Maybe people like board games, okay? Maybe it is going for a walk. Some people like concerts. Some people like zoos. Some people like musicals, theaters, art. Everybody's different, right? So it's looking at, hey, I know she likes this. What can we do? I know he likes this. Can we do that? And it's not one person getting their way all the time, not at all. But you need to be able to go after and connect on that emotional, mental level. Maybe you talk about, how was your day? Maybe you can talk about, and I mentioned this before, and I'll give credit to Dr. Aarons, ARON. and actually it might be, is it 2 A's? I think it's just one. ARON, Dr. Aaron's 36 questions. And they're random questions like, hey, if there was a past music star or movie star that passed away, or you got to meet, who would you want it to be, or who would you want them to be alive again, right? There are questions like that, that you can talk about and learn about each other even more. And remember, those change over time, right? We could be one way for 10 years and we evolve and grow. It's being able to learn each other different likes. Hey, I used to like this, I don't like it so much, and that's okay. It sounds like a pain in the butt, but it's about learning each other, showing interest in each other, how we grow and evolve together emotionally, mentally, and of course, physically, sexually, okay? Now, mentioned, okay, duration, please. She gets tired and kind of bored. Now, when you're looking at duration, again, everybody's different, right? You have to look at, is she getting sore? Is she getting chafed? If you're talking about a woman in a heterosexual relationship, or even say two women in same-sex relationship, right? Now you have to look at, are they, what is duration? Some people like a quickie once in a while. Some people like an hour, 2 hour long marathon intimacy session. A lot of women, they might get, how can I say this? They might get bored. They might get sore. They might get chafed because not enough lube, number one. And they might just get sore from the intimacy, from penetrative sex. So this is where you have to talk about communication, talk about, what's going on in a relationship. And you also have to be able to look at, it changes, right? Sometimes women, men, they might want a longer episode, and sometimes they might want a shorter one. So it's being able to communicate is crucial. Okay. Being able to say, hey, that's good enough. I'm good. Whatever. I'm tired, that type of situation. It's the open communication and looking at, and if they get bored, then you have to look at, or your partner. And this goes for men, women, any gender, right? That if they're bored sexually or intimately, what do they need to feel less bored? Or do they want more connection? They could be bored because it's just poundy, 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 right? Or they're not bored if there's an emotional connection. So that's where I look at, where does the boredom come from? Is it the same thing all the time? Here, kiss me, lick me, do me. It's repetitive. Some people are okay with that. It's the same thing all the time. Some people want to change it up. They want different things now and then, right? Some people are more into, maybe I mentioned at the beginning of the show, role playing. And, they might want to role play. They might want to try more, bondage stuff, tying each other up, handcuffs, that type of stuff, blindfolding. Maybe some people want to try, chocolate covered strawberries blindfolded and use that to heighten the senses, right? The sense of taste. But you can also look at, the sensory aspects, not only just taste, but sounds, right? Maybe smells. I mentioned taste. Maybe touches, that type of thing. And, I already mentioned, and, what else? Oh, sights and what you see, right? I've had a brain fart, sorry. So those are situations where I want people to be able to look at, what is causing the boredom? That type of situation. Some people are never bored, intimately wise, sexually. Some people get bored very easily. And that's different. And that's part of also, it could be compatibility. So that's where you have to look at what constitutes boredom, right? What is long enough or not long enough when it comes into a sexual episode of connecting. You have to look at, and I go after mind, body, heart, and soul of the relationship, and what does that look like? What happens for both of you. And again, this is not a right or wrong situation. It is looking at what works for both of you and to be able to, come together and to be open, to be honest with each other and not sort of pout if someone says, hey, you know what, I'm bored sexually. And then what happens is, what? The person, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. See if I ever, and because it hurts their feelings. I get that. But that's where I want people to be open and honest, to be able to hear each other's truth, that you feel safe enough to say, hey, I'd like to spice it up a little bit. I want to try this more. I want to try that more. Maybe you can do that instead of saying, I'm bored shitless. Okay. So there's different ways you can talk to each other without being rude, without being crude, without being disrespectful or mean or rude. Hey, I'd love us to try this. I'd love us to try that. And maybe that is your partner's way saying, maybe I'm bored. I want to try something new, because they're afraid, and this goes, it doesn't matter on the gender, that they're afraid they're going to hurt your feelings. You're going to get defensive. And that's where I want people to be able to, hey, can you hear each other's truth? Especially when you're talking about intimacy or going, the original topic of the show was being there in a state of, when a disaster hits. Maybe you lost a loved one. I mentioned about a tornado being a couple miles from my home right now. Or it hit a couple hours ago. Or the hurricanes, tidal waves, forest fires, natural disasters, or what happens if you're all of a sudden one of you loses your job. Is that other partner going to have their back, or are they going to say, peace, I'm out of here? So looking at how do you have each other's backs, and this goes, emotionally, mentally, and of course physically, right? How can you be there for your partner in a time of need? And it's very difficult because one person might panic and the other one is like, I got to take care of everything. And what happens if I'm the one in the time of need or bad times? I'm the strong one all the time. I never can be the one that can just let loose. I can't be the one where my partner is going to have my back, because I don't trust that they're going to be them, that they're not going to fall apart. So I got to be strong all the time. Ehab, do you allow guests? Of course I do. Well, I got to ask, it depends who it is. And I want to make sure it's no scam, no people being disrespectful to anybody else, including me. I want to help people. Hey, Reagan, what's going on? I appreciate you tuning in. And people, Miss Stubbs, hey, what's going on Instagram? Renew Flooring, Ohio. Hey, appreciate you joining up. Richard, yeah, throw out your questions. I'm going to be on as a little bit. Oh, Ehab, you want to be a guest right now? Yeah, hit me up. Yeah, I'll try to, I don't even know how to, hit me up. How can I add you as a guest, man? So that's a good question. Yeah, you can come on as a guest, Ehab, and I know we're going to talk about this. I'm going to be on for probably about, 10, 12 more minutes. And I am not sure. You requested, where are you at? Ehab, can you request again? It might be down in the list. I'm laughing because I don't know where the heck you went, but if you can request to be a guest again, man, I'd appreciate it, okay? So yeah, hit me up. So, and then I'll bring you on, okay? Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, Ehab, where you at, bro? Hey, Ehab, you there? Yo, 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 Ehab. He might be getting ready. Hey, if you can, talk, Ehab. He might be adjusting the mic, or maybe it's an issue on my end. And those people on other platforms might not be able to hear Ehab, since he is only going to be on. He said he's talking, but I don't. Oh, you know what, Ehab? My bad. It's not set up where you can be heard yet. Shoot. So I apologize, Ehab. You know what? Dang, I can't. Let me try something else, okay? Check in Facebook Messenger, Ehab, and I'm gonna send you a link, and that might be easier. That way you'll be able to be heard, and that way you'll be able to come on. So let me send you the link right now on Facebook Messenger, and then you can join that way, because the way I have my phone and TikTok, it's not going to be able to allow you to come on that way, because it's using the mic and the way the speakers are set up. So I apologize. If you can't, we'll set it up on StreamYard another way, okay? So again, throw out your questions out there. Anything I can do to answer, the dating, relationship, sex, marriage questions, anything I can do to help. And I am, like I said, I'm fully licensed professional counselor in the state of Michigan and Detroit and Metro Detroit area. And been doing this for almost 22 years now. I'm a relationship and sex specialist. And I have a lot of grief and trauma. I used to also work with kids, rape survivors, severe sexual trauma, physical trauma, emotional trauma. Here we go. Ehab, he might be.
Hello, my
showing
friend.
up.
How are you doing?
Hey, there's Ehab. Hey, hopefully everybody can hear Ehab. I don't know if they can hear. I think they might be able to hear you
Yeah, I
on
think you
TikTok.
can hear me.
So I'm going to try to arrange the speakers where everybody can hear as well, and me. So if, hit me up. What's going on? How are you? Now,
Everything is good. Thank you.
good. So hit me up, Ehab. Are you,
Okay.
are you big enough?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? I'm laughing.
Look, look, my friend. As I told you, there is a huge difference in culture.
Yeah. Oh, a huge
And
difference in culture. Yes.
yeah. So when you do something like this, I don't want to mention a lot, but it's kind of like stealing time, hidden with all the surveillance cameras down, just to have some time. The point is, uh, sometimes it's not your bed. Sometimes you are stealing time. Like you're in a hurry. Okay, let's catch these 30 minutes and
Yeah. Oh,
uh, have motion till the ocean. I love the word.
yeah. That's an old American saying, and I'm sure every culture has their saying.
Yeah.
And I agree. Sometimes we don't have that much time, for intimacy, that we can have a quicker session, and other times we can take that time, or maybe, and I mentioned this before about scheduling intimacy. And it sounds weird, but it's like, hey, I want to take our time. I want us to be more intimate, take our time, and not rush through it. And for those that are just listening, I mentioned Ehab Malik is actually in Cairo, Egypt, and we're gonna have our separate show where we talk about different cultures, and in Cairo, and Muslim, Islam, and different cultures, and not only religious aspects, but the culture of Egypt, of Cairo, of other Middle Eastern aspects. Well, I don't know. Would you consider? I wouldn't call Egypt Middle Eastern, would you?
Yeah, Egypt, of course, is Middle Eastern.
Is it you would call it
Egypt
Middle
is Middle
Eastern? Okay.
Eastern, Arab, and North African.
Well, yeah, I know North Africa. I didn't know North Africa. I guess, yeah, it would be part
Yes,
of.
we belong to Middle
Yeah.
East.
Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to look
So
at my. I knew where Egypt was, but I didn't know if they considered them a separate entity outside of the Middle East or part of it. So thank you.
no, we are Middle East. You're welcome. So
Cool.
the question is, the situation for unmarried couples in our culture is very odd. So you can never schedule. It's weird, and it's more weird if they are not married. So there is some kind of inverse reaction, which means if she's in a hurry, you need more time. If it's not your bed, you need more time. I'm talking about myself, by the way.
Oh, okay. I got you. So are you saying that some people might be in a rush because of the culture, the peer pressure and religious beliefs and all that in Egypt that I can't let anyone know where I was at, that type of thing? Is that what you're saying, Ehab?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah,
Okay,
like
okay, awesome.
you're going hidden, like a room in some place, or you're going to home, but you don't want anybody to hear or there's any company with you. So in this point,
Or they don't want to be seen?
exactly, you're in a
Okay.
hurry. She has curfew or whatever.
A
So
curfew, right,
it
family
causes
curfew because of
it
the
causes a huge
culture.
delay.
Yeah.
It causes a huge delay.
Well,
Uh,
it creates a lot of stress, right?
Awful stress.
A lot of stress that you're worrying about getting caught or getting banished, getting ridiculed
No, no, no,
about.
no, 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 not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's not that conservative, because as long as she's not married, so it's kind of ignore it. It's not that huge. But the problem is with culture and people don't want to be seen usually in together in a home for marriage. But when you
Right.
steal some time for intimacy, it makes, as I told you, inverse reaction. Instead of taking like 20 minutes, for example, no, you need 40 to 45 minutes.
Oh, I got you. And that's where, and I understand that. And that's where you look at, um, with the culture about being, um, let's face it, you might be worried about family and curfews and it's shame is still a huge, well, with certain religious groups here in America, it's the same. There's that shame about premarital sex. Is that still a huge thing there in Egypt?
And it's also the lack of presence of the mind, heart, and soul. No candles, no essence, no music, nothing at all. We just want to steal time, not to have intimacy and leave. So,
Oh, just the physical aspect of I usually say getting a nut or having an orgasm and then leaving. And
yeah,
because of that fear. No, I get that. So you can't be seen and hang out if the family doesn't approve and if they find out. I get that. And Ehab, I am I'm actually gonna say goodbye to everybody now. I'm tired.
okay, thank you so much.
And
Thank you for
well,
your time.
it's gotta be you gotta be early in the morning there, man. I appreciate you tuning in.
Yes,
So
4 a.m.
4 a.m., man, you're out partying too long. No, I'm teasing. No,
No,
I
I was
appreciate you
writing my
joining
book.
in. And we will yeah, we'll definitely get together and have another show, okay?
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you so much for
Oh
your
no,
time and
thanks. Thanks so
have a great
much.
evening.
Bye
You
bye.
too.
Take care.
Bye.
So, I know a lot of people might have a hard time. I don't know if the audio turned out okay with Ehab, but because of the Islamic, the language and the English being distorted a little bit with Ehab. But, he was saying in Egypt and a lot of Middle Eastern cultures, the shame is still huge about premarital sex, and they're rushing. They might just have sex and leave, and there's might not be time to spend for the emotional connection. Cuddling. I call it the afterglow or after play aspect, and it's sad. It's shame. And how do we change that? How does that culture change what's going on? And it's very, very difficult. It's not easy at all. Okay. So, again, what do you do to make sure you have each other's backs, especially in times of emergency and devastation? And also looking at how do you connect emotionally, mentally better with your partner, and to be able to talk about openly about intimacy if you're bored sexually, if you want different things, but you need to be able to connect with your partner. If something is going on where intimacy has died down a lot, and we could look at exhaustion, I look at medical issues, medical complication, hormone issues, diabetes, blood pressure, that type of situation. Certain medications can kill desire. Exhaustion can kill, definitely. Okay. Hey, Holly, what's going on? But that's where I want people to look at, what is going on and how do you connect with your partner emotionally, mentally, and not just focus necessarily all the time on sex. Because by doing that, you might end up increasing your sexual satisfaction and your sexual desires and frequency by connecting with the emotional, mental aspect. Okay. Check out my profile above. You can check theartofrelationships.org is my website. I still have classes, self-help classes on sale. Check it out and catch the Art of Relationships show every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's Detroit, New York City time. And all the episodes are available. Probably the easiest that I mentioned are on YouTube at LoveGuruGreg. And please follow me. I'd be so flattered. Follow me. And thank you so much for spending your time with me. And I will catch you very soon. Peace and love to everybody out there. Take care, people. Bye bye.